What's up everybody, and welcome back. Today I have another fantastic recommendation, and honestly, I'm really excited about this manga, even though this is a very early on recommendation. Today I'm recommending the middle-aged delivery man becomes an invincible swordsman as a side job. I definitely wish the title was shorter, but unfortunately it isn't, and all the other translations of the title are even longer. So this is the shortest translation of the title, but it's fantastic. It's being made by Konoha Sakuya and Hoshino Kochido. So far it's only 2 chapters, but there are 4 raw chapters, so hopefully those get translated soon, but there's only 2 in English. It's an action adventure fantasy shonen, and it is about exactly what the title says. It's about Jack, who's a middle-aged delivery man, like the title suggests, and he becomes an invincible swordsman. This is where it gets good, because Jack didn't start out as an invincible swordsman, which is one of my favorite parts of this manga so far. Not that he didn't start invincible, but how the manga sets everything up in a grounded way. Because Jack didn't want to be a swordsman at all, and he's not really a swordsman. So like in many other fantasy manga, the people of this world get a skill at a certain age, and that skill can obviously be super impactful on your life. Jack's father got basically telekinesis, and I don't know if it was a family kind of skill, but he used it to start a delivery business, because I guess it wasn't so good that it was, you know, you could throw a boulder, but it was enough that you could pick up boxes, and a few at a time. It shows him picking up actually quite a lot at a time. So he started a delivery business that was seemingly very successful, so that's what Jack wanted to and still wants to do, which is another thing I love. Jack doesn't want to be a delivery man for some lame reason. He wants to be one because of his father. But Jack's skill, which seems like is supposed to be the same as his father, his is seemingly much weaker because it can only make things vibrate. He can't actually move objects with it. Because of that, he can't really be a successful delivery man because he can only move what he can physically move. So he goes to a swordsman school. I don't know for how long, but after school he starts his own delivery business. Don't know why he doesn't take over his father's. I'm assuming his father is dead, and since he can't just move all this stuff like his dad could, he just starts his own. That's just an assumption though. So he starts this delivery business because what he really wants to do is follow in his father's footsteps. This whole time though, Jack has turned his skill inward because for some reason it seems like his vibration skill is always on. So to not vibrate literally everything he touches all the time, he somehow changes the direction of his skill. So Jack is always internally vibrating, which turned him into a superhuman because all of his muscles have basically been getting a workout since he was like 6, or at least it looks like he was 6. I don't actually know the age that he got his skill, but very quickly he started using his skill on himself. I guess he really can't just turn it off. I don't know why, but so it's like his muscles, his bones, his organs even have been getting like electrostimulation for his entire life. So he becomes like a superhuman. Now he's not all big and super jacked, but it's like his muscles are just like probably so much denser than everybody else's. It's not like he has super strength. It's like his, well, it is like he has super strength, but it's like he got super strength from a lifetime of working out. So even though he's a superhuman, he still wanted to be a delivery man. So he does it, which allows him to meet Lise. Her full name is Lisette, but he meets her because he saved her as a little girl. I assume on a delivery of some kind. We don't really know the full story, but he saved her. And after she was saved, years later, she becomes a knight's commander who finds Jack again because she wants him to be the one sword, which is the most powerful swordsman in the kingdom, who also has the power to literally do whatever they want. So they act as the kingdom's trump card while being given the freedom to do whatever. And I guess the assumption is whatever they do will be in service of the kingdom and it won't be something evil, but the one sword literally gets to do whatever they want and they can't be opposed by anybody. If you oppose them, it's like you're opposing the kingdom itself, because I think the only person that that they have to answer to is the king. But even that seems a little iffy because I don't know if that's even true. Obviously though, Jack says no, but ends up becoming the One Sword by defeating the active One Sword because that guy kidnaps a young girl named Monica because she has high magic capabilities and wants to have kids with her to have super kids. And obviously no one is cool with that, but like I said, opposing the One Sword is like opposing the kingdom. So Jack has to challenge him to a duel and easily beats him because he's a superhuman and because everything he touches, remember, vibrates. Meaning when he uses a sword, it becomes a vibrating sword, which basically means it becomes a saw. And I don't know how fast the vibrations are, but they're probably freakishly fast because he cuts through the sword pretty easily. I don't know if that's just from his strength, but I think it's also just the strength plus the vibration of the sword makes him super dangerous. So Jack obviously wins easily and becomes the One Sword, but he still wants to be a delivery man. He doesn't actually want the gig of being a One Sword. He just saves Monica because he's like, this guy is evil. But you can't beat the One Sword without becoming the One Sword. And this is the only part that so far is to me, which is his complete kind of rejection of wanting to be the One Sword. Like, I get it. You know, you don't want the seat of ultimate power because you're just like, I don't want that. That seems like a lot of responsibility. I just want to be a delivery man. But I just hope it's not a constant rejection and he's just in the right place at the right time because he still does deliveries. So he ends up in the places that the One Sword should be, fights the bad guys, defeats the villains, whatever, because he's a delivery man. I hope it's one of those, he comes to the realization that he needs to be the One Sword and just accepts the role. And honestly, I believe that's what may happen because even though this is clearly a fantasy, like I said, it's pretty grounded in the sense that the character's motivations and so far abilities and explanations of why Jack is better than everyone is from a grounded reason, at least as far as fantasy goes. So I'm hoping that kind of grounded nature of the manga so far is what pushes Jack to be like, okay, I'll be the One Sword and I'll act as the One Sword. Either that or, you know, something terrible happens and he's kind of forced into the role. Regardless, I hope it takes a more direct, definitive Jack's the One Sword and he's acting as the One Sword. Not one of those right place, right time, still the hero kind of things. But so far, I'm loving this manga because of that grounded nature, the characters, and where the story seems like it's going. Because between saving Lise and the last panel of chapter 2, it seems like there is a legitimate threat that's going to be more than a stereotypical villain or a kind of fun fantasy mixed with beating some bad guys. I'm just assuming because of the nature and tone of the story so far, which has been light but with a background of seriousness. I mean, the guy was trying to abduct a girl so that he could have kids with her. He wasn't just like trying to abduct her to train her up, you know what I'm saying? There's different layers to this dark seriousness. So I'm hoping that background of that kind of darker seriousness is what carries on. Now it also has some comedy bits and a one-sided romance between Lise and Jack, which may be explored later down the line, but so far I love everything about this manga, including the characters. I mean, my man Jack is just, he's the man. He's the guy. He's an honest, hardworking guy who's got crazy skills that he earned, but doesn't want a seat of absolute power. Mostly, seemingly, because it's not that he doesn't want to be bothered, but because his dream is to be a delivery man like his dad. It's just not his motivation to be basically second to nobody. It doesn't seem like he's trying to avoid the responsibility, even though he doesn't feel fit for it. It's just that he always idolized his father and wants to be like him. Lise is great also. I don't know how strong she is, but she's a Knights Commander, so obviously very, or at least pretty strong. But she's a responsible young lady who is serious with everyone, but is her actual true self with Jack, which I'm here for. I like those characters. So far, she's where most of the humor comes from because she's in love with Jack, but she's also where the wholesome comes from, which I'm also here for. Monica, the young girl Jack rescues, is pretty good so far. She's not one of those annoying, obsessive, Jack is mine now, get away from him, Lise characters, which thank God, because I can't stand those types. But it seems like she's going to be a part of the crew too because she has some kind of great magic skills that we don't quite know yet. All we know know is that apparently she has them, so my assumption is this crew, right, the three of them, Jack, Lise, Monica, are gonna be the ones doing missions, blah blah blah. Hopefully. I'm hoping it doesn't, again, become one of those they go together on delivery things and just happen to be in the right place at the right time to save the day. That's what I'm hoping doesn't happen. I'm hoping it takes that serious. I'm taking on the responsibilities that I need to because the kingdom needs me, and because if I want to be a delivery man in the kingdom, there needs to be a kingdom in the first place. But as of now, I honestly don't think I have any complaints about this manga. I know it's only 2 chapters, but still, most of the time, by then, you have a pretty good sense of what you do and don't like about a manga. But this, I like everything about. Like I said before though, my only hope is that Jack accepts the role as the One Sword instead of it becoming a right place, right time rescue hero thing. And I know I've said that quite a few times already, but it is a worry of mine because I've seen that happen in plenty fantasy manga. I'm hoping it doesn't happen in this one because this one seems like it does have a more serious undertone laced into the story. But I feel like it should become that, at least just because of the villain design. But so far, that's my only hope, because other than that, it's fantastic. So if this seems interesting to you, check it out. There are already raw chapters out, so hopefully we get the translation soon. But if you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and for more recommendations, check out the Why You Should playlist and the TooTaku podcast in the description box below, as well as the link to the merch. Other than that, I'll see all of you in the next one.